When it comes to public safety, we are truly one family working together to keep everyone safe. Here to talk about air rescue training and how it works for our community is Phoenix Fire Chief Bob Kahn. Chief, welcome to the show. Now, Chief, you call me councilman. It's kind of a weird thing. I'm one of many firefighters in the Valley, obviously a Glendale firefighter, but we all look up to you. So we're here to talk about this air monitoring system. What's new? What's the new technology? How does it work?
It's a great system for firefighters. And as you know, you're a firefighter, firsthand experience. Technology has come so far, from rescue tools on ladder companies or truck companies, to the clothes we wear, to the protective clothing, to the SCBAs. This technology has been around in Phoenix since about 2004, but it keeps being refined and more commonplace. It's basically air system that's in a standpipe, like the water that we have to fight the fire. And I'll say this to you, but it's really for your viewers. We have heat, fuel, and oxygen in a fire. Water cools the fire, puts the fire out. The products of combustion are smoke, and we can't breathe without our bottles. Our bottles are rated at about 30 minutes, so firefighters can run out of air, and it's very labor intensive to carry those bottles from the ground all the way up to a working high-rise fire. This system puts that air on every other floor for firefighters, and it really came out of the Meridian fire, which was a fire in Philadelphia that cost 3 firefighters their lives because they ran out of air, and the technology evolved from there. So it's really a tool for the firefighters in the Valley. Even if Glendale comes into Phoenix, which they would on a high-rise fire, this is something that they can use to help save their lives.
Now, what makes this so important is this is something that we now have in a couple of training academies right here in the Valley. Phoenix, thank you, in fact, that was the first one. And the other is the Glendale Regional Training Center in Glendale. But this system exists in over 40 buildings now in the Valley. So it's important that we have them, have the same type of system at these training academies so that we as firefighters can actually get that firsthand training, right?
It's huge. Training is if you repeat what you do on a regular basis through training, then when you need anything, whether it's a rescue from a car wreck or a medical call or a fire, then it's at your fingertips. And it's not something that's strange to you or to the work you're performing. It's nice to have at a training facility because if it's regional, it could be Glendale or the fire departments around there. It could be Goodyear or any fire department on that west side, Peoria. If it's in Phoenix, it could be Tempe or Glendale itself. And so we train together. So you're talking about multiple companies, multiple fire departments being able to use this technology.
When I came on the job 10 years ago, I was one of 43 firefighters, 9 different agencies.
Yeah.
And going through special ops training, special operations training, it's the same type of training. So you're right. So having it there at the training academies is very important. The way we're able to get it is through a public-private partnership. Obviously, right here in the city of Phoenix is something that we look for. So this was a perfect opportunity to get this type of technology in our training academy for free.
Yeah, it's one of those partnerships where we need now because the resources aren't there. So anything we can partner with the private sector to get in our facilities, to be part of our training, is welcomed.
Now, Chief, for the benefit of our viewers, how does it work? You mentioned that this is on every other floor on a high-rise. I can speak from experience, and so can you. This is going to save a lot of time. It's very labor-intensive to fight any fire, especially a high-rise fire. But how does it work? How does it stay operational?
Above-ground fires are very dangerous because typically there's maybe 2 exits and 2 ways in to get to the active fire floor. That means everything's restricted. It's very cut up. There's a lot of compartments, a lot of offices. So a search takes a long time. You run out of air if you're a firefighter. This system is based off the standpipe system, where at a standpipe we'll have a fire truck that actually pumps those standpipes so there's water above ground, so we have water to fight the fire. The air system works the same way. There'll be one of our air trucks that we see at a surface street fire that actually provides air to the firefighters, hooks up to the system and pumps air through these pipes, and every other floor you can actually fill your bottle right there. Without that, you have to bring up new bottles to have enough air to do a search and rescue and then to do the fire suppression, to put the fire out. This is if you've been above ground in fires, this is a great tool for us to have.
Chief Kahn, thank you for everything you're doing, everything you've done, and continue to do for the Phoenix Fire Department, Valley Fire Departments, and everyone that we are here to serve and protect. This is another example of a public-private partnership to help the people of Phoenix and the Valley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Phoenix Fire had their system installed earlier in 2013. I was in Glendale for the installation of the Glendale air monitoring system. Take a look. Well, it's an exciting day, and Chief Burdick, as usual, giving credit is due. Chief Montgomery, I know you worked very hard with this particular facility. When I was approached several months ago by a friend, Ron Ober, and Tony Terriello from Rescue Air to talk about this system, and I believe I was approached because along with being a policymaker, a council member, I'm a firefighter, obviously, and immediately I knew how important this would be. This is, especially as a firefighter sitting in that seat in my office in Phoenix, knowing that there are probably 40 or over 40 buildings that have something like this already. As a firefighter, not knowing where those 40 buildings are. As a firefighter, thinking about what if this was one of the buildings that I would be in one day, in a fire, running out of air, not knowing if it even exists. Having that thought of going into the stairwell where I know it's going to be and not knowing how to use it. And as the fire chief just mentioned, right now the way it works out, so that all firefighters understand what it is and how to use it, we are actually going to these businesses and we are training in stairwells. Well, Tony, offered to donate this type of a system to the Phoenix Regional Training Facility. One of my very good friends and a mentor is Fire Chief Mark Burdick, and one thing I've always said about the fire chief here is his ability to create these public-private partnerships in the fire service. This would be one of them. I actually talked to Tony about that. It was probably a 45-minute meeting initially, but the agreement was made probably 3 minutes into it. This is a good idea. The fire chief said it was a good idea. We started working on this thing, and here we are today. So, Tony, thank you. Rescue Air, thank you for the contribution. Now there are 2 of them in training facilities, one in Phoenix and right here in Glendale. And now our firefighters will have the training that's accessible right here at the training academy, and we will know how to use that system that exists in over 40 buildings now, and it's going to be more prevalent as time goes, obviously. Thank you all for coming out. It takes a lot of tools, a lot of manpower, a lot of effort to fight a high-rise fire. We need tools such as axes, Halligan tools, pike poles, and of course, air. Now, the old way, or the conventional way, is you would have firefighters carrying bottles up several flights of steps. Now, again, that's the old way. With this new technology, this is where we're going. Firefighters who are running low on air will now be able to go to a rescue air system like this. Plug in here. This will replenish my air, allowing me to get right back into the firefight. Saving lots of time and energy. Now there are 40 of these that already exist in buildings around the valley as of mid-2013. They'll become more and more prevalent, and that is why it's so important to have these systems in training facilities. We have one at the Phoenix Fire Department and one at the Glendale Regional Public Safety Training Center. Our Valley firefighters train together. That's why it's so important to have.